They'll come for you. When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killer rappers. Then I hit my quota, and my train of thought is more a locomotive. Talking reason for it, I got locomotives. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stun on my ex and a friend's tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit. I was powerful but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist. Try not to change, but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up, they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exists. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, green, green. I'm about to go green, green, green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature Iraq. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing, steady growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view that some window pain. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick be. Here's some truth that I'll let free. Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, green, green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green.
Oh yeah, shout out to everybody who's here today. It is Sunday. I appreciate you guys being here. Rico knows. I'm about to go green with the MVPs. I apologize. If you guys aren't aware, I was about to say, if you aren't tracking, if you aren't aware, today is Sunday. There's NFL games. Ain't interested in that at all. I picked about 3 of them. I actually picked 5, but then I found out Flacco's not going to be playing today. I think Patrick Mahomes is out, so disregard those 2. But I have 3 picks today in the NFL. Gave it to the MVPs. It's my first time picking NFL games. I think those 3 locks, people should put their money on them, believe in it, and go make a living for it. If you didn't know, I do all my picks. They're all there for everybody to see. Give me a second here. I have to look up the transfer portal, and we're going to go pull up the offensive lineman. But I made some NFL picks today. But more importantly, at 2 o'clock today, 2 o'clock Eastern, the national championship for the FCS is on. I will be live streaming it. I will be on the Discord server with the MVPs, putting it on there for everybody to see, and I'll be providing commentary. We're going to see Montana go do the damn thing. We believe in Montana. And they're playing South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, the best FCS dynasty in recent memory. Obviously, they got over the hump last year, and now they're going to win it again this year. I have them winning the game, by the way. Most people do. They're 13.5-point favorites, but are they going to cover the spread? That's the real question. I got the real answer. But today, we're looking at offensive linemen in the transfer portal. There's a ton of people to talk about in the transfer portal, but obviously I go by position group, and I only talk about the committed players for the most part, and then we'll go look at the others, the available players of that position group. I just recently did an episode on receivers. You can go watch it. That was episode number 2, meaning I've done 2 episodes on wide receivers. I did one episode where I covered probably the top 25 guys. Then the last episode covered the next 25. Here we are on the offensive linemen. If I check my notes, and I'm going to pull them up now, last episode, I covered 29 offensive linemen. So as I go through this and I tell you, I've already talked about this guy. All you need to do is go watch the offensive lineman show from last couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago or 2. And when I do this, and it gives me enough time to go over each position group every single day, I can go over every player, no matter the team. I can go over, a gambit of things where if I was to sit here and just choose what conferences I wanted to talk about or what players I wanted to talk about, we can just get a little chaotic. But at least here, when I go by position group, we miss no one. We talk about every single player in a particular position group, and we don't miss an assessment or an evaluation on their decision-making and where they're going. And most importantly, for some of you who don't know the players, I'm teaching you who they are and what they're about. So here we have the offensive lineman in the transfer portal. This is once again, a straight disgrace by the recruiting websites. Now, before I get into this list, I want to explain to everybody who's watching right now. Shout out to everybody on TikTok. All you got to do, move over to YouTube, and I'll answer your questions. I don't see them in the chat right now or your comments. But what you guys got to understand is these websites are so ridiculous. The fact they have Seth McLaughlin down here, third, behind this guy, Drew Azzopardi, is insane. Seth has been the starting center at Alabama for 2 years now. But because he's leaving Alabama, because you guys want to believe he's a bad center, granted, he's going to go up to Ohio State and probably play guard, but this is the very best offensive lineman in the transfer portal. And it's not close. You're not going to find a single one of these kids who can start at Alabama for 2 years and only give up 1 sack in 3 years. He's allowed 1 sack in 3 years. Oh, but Rico, his snaps are shit. He did this, that. I don't care. Move him to guard. He's the best offensive lineman in the transfer portal. He's the best center at Alabama. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be on the field. Every bad snap, they still didn't bring in a backup. There isn't a better center in the transfer portal. There isn't a better center on Alabama. There isn't a better guard anywhere in America. This is a kid he played left tackle when he was at Buford here in Georgia. I know him really well. But this man has started 2 years in a row, and now magically he sucks. Now magically he's not good enough. Now magically he's third in the portal. There ain't a dude in this damn portal that can start at Bama 2 years in a row, only give up 1 sack in the SEC for 3 years. You got to be shitting me. And they go out here and rank him, and they give him a 0.9? It's a disgrace, man. It's ridiculous. These recruiting websites don't want to admit it when they get shit wrong. So they're going to pretend like prospects are ranked higher than actual players. I'm going to give you guys an example of a prospect being ranked higher than actual players. Victor Cutler Jr., he's somewhere. Where is he? He's somewhere down here. Victor Cutler Jr., I talked about him in the last episode. The worst signing I've seen. And it's no shade on him. He just didn't belong at Ohio State. There he is. Victor Cutler Jr. leaving Ohio State, going to Louisville. He's not an Ohio State football player. Why is he ranked this high? He never played at Ohio State. This is a ULM kid. And late in the transfer portal cycle, he went from ULM to Ohio State. And the first thing I said when that happened was, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? You're not going to play at Ohio State? So now he goes all the way to Louisville. Why are you checking this kid out, Louisville? He can't play up here. This is a group of 5 player at best. At best. It's ridiculous. Look at this. Joey Tanona right here. This Joey kid is ranked ahead of these players. I need you guys to understand that Cade Bennett is one of the very best offensive linemen. One of the very best offensive linemen out of San Diego State. The best offensive lineman out of San Diego State. All conference. All conference. You know what Joey Tanona is? He's a kid who's leaving Notre Dame going to Purdue. He's not even a football player. He medically retired. He's never played. Never played football. He got in a car accident, got injured before the season ever started. He's never played a down of football, and they got him ranked ahead of the starting center at UConn. They got him ranked ahead of a guy who's been a 2-time all-conference player in the Mountain West. They voted the best offensive lineman at San Diego State. And they got this guy ranked ahead of him. Why? Because he's leaving Notre Dame? Because he was once a Notre Dame kid? Because you guys had him at 4 stars? This kid doesn't belong anywhere above these guys. Not even close. And it's worse. This is the best offensive lineman on San Diego State. And go up here. This is San Diego State. He's going to Washington. I don't give a shit where he's going. He's not even the best lineman on San Diego State. He wasn't all conference. They just make shit up. It's like they got paid by an agent. Somebody told them. So when I'm talking about these offensive linemen, and I tell you guys, this is a really good offensive lineman. Well, Rico, he's way down here. Yeah, these websites don't know what the hell they're doing. This is why you got to come to my show. So Caden Green, fourth best offensive lineman in the portal, in my assessment. Great young man. Was starting some games for Oklahoma this year. He's going to go start for Missouri. But he's not the number one guy. That's this dude right here. Seth McLaughlin has been starting multiple years in the SEC, allowed one sack. Don't let a bad game, a couple of bad games, of bad snaps, all this shit, don't let that fool you. That kid is better than anybody at Alabama. He's better than anybody at your school. Don't let him fool you. And that's why he was in the portal for about 20 minutes. You heard 9 Alabama guys jumped in the portal in one day. Guess who was out of the portal by the end of the day? By close of business Tuesday, that man had a scholarship. He ain't worried about shit. And Ohio State ain't sweating it. I'm just letting you know. So, yes, I will be talking about the offensive lineman today. And I'm telling you, that's the best lineman in the portal. The second best lineman in the portal is the guy right here, Omar. And I can't say his last name. Bedlin. Alga Bedlin. I don't know how to say it. Straight out of Montana State, the Bobcats, going to Baylor. Baylor's done great, man. Baylor went out and got themselves 2 linemen. 2 linemen worth a damn. Omar's one of them. Interior offensive lineman, I think he's the second best player in the portal. I shit you not. Okay, so he's a guard. He's from Katy, Texas. Let's talk about it. He's from Katy, Texas. He's 6'3", 308 pounds. So he's got the right size you're looking for. Had offers from Texas Tech, BYU, Arizona State, I think UCF. But when you watch his huddle tape, it was made poorly. His huddle tape looks bad. You got to go watch film at Montana State. I think the huddle tape was so bad he was playing right tackle on the tape. It looked so bad, and that's why he ended up FCS. But he is the number 1 ranked guard in the FCS according to Pro Football Focus. Now, I don't always quote PFF, but for linemen, there really are no stats. You look at starts. You look at sacks allowed, hurries, pressures. But for linemen, you don't really know if they're any good. So you trust a source like PFF to give you some type of passer or run rating. I like to go watch the tape. And I like to see and I'm telling you right now, Omar looks great on tape. I think that's an amazing lineman right here. Probably the second best lineman in the portal. They give him 3 stars because he's not from a Power 5 school. He's not going to the SEC. They're ignoring him. But I'm telling you, that is the second best lineman in the portal. Seth is number 1. And much to their credit, they have him the top-rated 3-star kid. They did him a favor. They go ahead and made him the top-rated 3-star. He's as close as you can get to being a 4-star. Okay. I still think they're being lazy. I still think this is propaganda. By the way, if you write a comment, I will get to it. I just do 10 people on the portal first, 10 people on the list, and then I get to the comments. If you're on YouTube or TikTok and you're talking to me, you got to come over. We're only talking offensive linemen today. Don't talk to me about Jaylen Brown. I don't give a shit. Once again, another player who's never played a down of football at the collegiate level, and you're all gassing him talking, oh, my God, Jaylen Brown, Florida State. Dude's never caught a pass in his life. What are you doing? There are Westers in the portal right now. LeJontay Wester had over 100 receptions this year. Jaylen Brown will never have 100 receptions in his college career. LeJontay Wester just did it in 1 season. You ain't talking about it. Motherfucking, you guys are casuals, man. It makes me sick. Back to the offensive line. So I already talked about all these guys in the first episode. Talked about them. Go watch episode 1 is what I'm saying. Talked about them. Covered them. Next guy I need to talk about, Addison Nichols. Let me go check my database. I'm pretty sure it's Addison Nichols. I haven't talked about him yet. So Addison Nichols leaving Tennessee, going to Arkansas. This is a kid from Norcross, Georgia. He didn't go to Norcross High School. He went to Greater Atlanta Christian. What I'll tell you is he's 6'5", 327. He looks like an SEC lineman. But something Tennessee realized real quick. He's big as hell, but he can't play for us. So he's got to go. So he's going to Arkansas. This is one of those lateral transfers. It doesn't make sense to me at all. None. Yes, he was the crown jewel of the 2022 recruiting class for Tennessee. I get it. He was your guy. Oh, my God, we got a 4-star Rico. We got a 4-star offensive lineman. He's a tackle from Georgia. He's amazing. Yeah, he's not in your too deep. Oh, it doesn't matter that we lost him now. I'm a homer when I'm doing that voice. It doesn't matter that we lost him. He's just depth. We don't need him. So one day he was being celebrated. The next he's not. But I'm telling you, when you transfer from Tennessee to Arkansas, it's just a lateral move, bro. You couldn't start at Tennessee. You're not going to magically start at Arkansas. It doesn't work that way. The players are good. You're not good enough. I don't like the move. I think if you're going to transfer and have 3 years of eligibility left, you should be going down in competition. Should have went to Georgia State. You don't do that. You don't go Tennessee to Arkansas. Respect Arkansas. And in Arkansas, you're going to sign a kid, fine. You're going to learn what Tennessee knows. He ain't it. Josh Preby here. Josh leaving Northwestern, going to Michigan. Oh, my God, Rico, Michigan got an alignment. Yeah, last year, Michigan really did good on the offensive line. I don't think there's that many prospects available for Michigan this year, and I also don't think it's a huge need for them this time around. But, last year they really dominated. They took a couple starters from Stanford. They got a starter from Arizona State. Shout out Drake Nugent. Shout out to Henderson. But Josh here actually played pretty well. He's 6'5", 310 pounds. Played pretty good for Northwestern when you turn on the tape. Been at Northwestern since 2019, so this is like an adult, right? It's a grown man. But he was all Big Ten this year. He had all Big Ten honors. Gave up 4 sacks. Remember what I told you? Seth, SEC, no sacks given up. 1 sack given up in 3 years. This man gave up 4 sacks. So, maybe they'll work with him. But he's played in 36 games. There's no shade at him. He's played a lot in Northwestern. I think he's pretty good. He started every single game this year. So it's a quality player. Added depth. It's fine. Scott talked about him in the first episode, all these guys. I think the next guy I'm going to talk about is, don't tell me Victor Cutler. Don't tell me that. Oh, it's Jalen Farmer. One of the worst signings in the portal. 100%. This is all gas, no brakes, terrible. I'm not excited for the signing at all. I don't get it. This kid can't play football. Jalen Farmer is the right size to play football. Everybody thinks he's supposed to play football, but he's moving. And if you're Kentucky, you're just signing a kid based on what? Based on recruiting websites? He's 6'5", 310, straight out of Covington, Georgia, Eastside High School. Watched him play in high school. Interior offensive lineman, right? His high school tape, he looks good. He's a left guard. Took trips to Bama. Only interested in playing in the SEC. Won't play anywhere else. Can't talk about it. You know what? He had 31 snaps this year. 31 snaps this season against McNeese State and Vanderbilt. Sorry, my dog's eating. It kind of distracted me. McNeese State and Vanderbilt. He plays in blowouts. Yes, he had upper body injury. He had a surgery. I get it. But I think he's wasting his time at Kentucky. Kentucky's offensive line has been bad for 2 years now. I think he's wasting his time at Kentucky. I don't think he's built for Kentucky. And I just think these kids get second chance after third chance after fourth chance because of their physical stature. There's nothing he's ever done on tape warrants getting that scholarship to Kentucky. Nothing. This is a young man that should be transferring to a Group of 5 school, but he won't. He only took visits to SEC schools. He only wants to play in the SEC. He's convinced he is SEC caliber, but nothing I've seen on the field warrants it. I turn on the tape, man. I go, this guy plays in blowouts on a terrible Florida team. You couldn't start at Florida, and you're gone. I think it's a waste. Not excited for it. Is this a repeat? I already talked about Josh Preby. Oh, yeah, the list repeats itself. Okay. Talked about everybody else. Kevin Wingington leaving Michigan State. Going to Illinois, 6'5", 320. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. This is a New Jersey kid. Started 6 games at right guard this year for Michigan State. So I thought he did well. Thought he could play well. But I think this is about moving to go play with friends. I went and checked Illinois' roster, and they have – this is from Hunn High School in Jersey is where he played. They have 2 other kids from Hunn High School. So I think he's just going to join his high school teammates. Seriously, I think he's just comfortable. Zach Amland is an offensive lineman at Illinois. He went to the same high school. So this might be friendship-driven. Owen Anderson is not a starter, but he's a tight end in Illinois as well. Same high school. So 2 linemen and a tight end. They probably all know each other. They're pretty tight, I'm sure. So he's going to join a high school teammate of his at Illinois. Pretty cool stuff, I guess. Congratulations. Another terrible signing here, Alou Ba. It's one of my top 10, bottom 10. Like, it's one of my top 10 worst signings. Alou Ba leaving Georgia, going to Maryland. Don't get it. 3 years of eligibility left. 6'6", 320. Just another IMG flop. You heard me. IMG kids not panning out. You're 6'6", 320. He's originally from Tennessee. So you're originally from Tennessee, Memphis, and you go down to IMG, and then everybody anoints you this great tackle, this great kid, and you go to Georgia, and you can't see the field at all. All potential. The whole signing's just potential. Don't know. Have a damn clue if he can play football. No clue. I think he should have went to Memphis. I think he should have went back home. And I guarantee you, if he doesn't start at Maryland, then he'll wake up, right? He'll waste another year on the bench, another year of eligibility, because he thought, well, I can't play at Georgia. I can play at Maryland. All right, buddy. We'll see. I'm not too excited about this move. I don't like to see transfers who couldn't make it, and then they do a lateral transfer. They go to another Power 5 school. No, man. Go down to competition. Go get your money, man. Go get on the field. Go to Middle Tennessee State. Go to Memphis. Go to ULM. Go to a Group of 5 school and see what it's really about. You go to Maryland, you're going to see another quality tackle at Maryland, bro. And you haven't earned the right to be there. I'm sure Maryland's excited to get the kid. I'm sure they are. Oh, we got a Georgia kid coming in. He's not really a Georgia kid. He didn't play. Doesn't make sense. If you played, I'll buy it. If you didn't play, I can't get down with you. Nikhil Bertrand, this one's a little intriguing to me. Now, it was going to be one of my bottom 10 things, and then I kind of thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this young man the benefit of the doubt. Leaving A&M, going to Alabama. It was Alabama or Syracuse, just so you know. It came down to Alabama or Syracuse. He's a Philadelphia PA kid. He played his high school ball at Northeast High School in Philly. This kid is 6'6", 340, and you guys ain't ready for this. His wingspan, 7 feet. It's 6'11" and 3/4. 7-foot-long wingspan, and you're 6'6"? Bro, that's nuts. This man can touch his kneecaps. Like, this man has got longest arms ever. So now what can we do with those long arms? Well, apparently he spent 1 season at A&M, redshirting, and then he left. So he's got 4 years at Bama, if he can start at Bama. Bama wants linemen. They need to develop them. Bama's going to struggle on the offensive line. If you guys didn't know why Bama's going to struggle on the offensive line, it's because Brent Key left. Brent Key was their offensive line coach. He's now the head coach at Georgia Tech. So when you're a team like Bama and you have an offensive line coach, it's different. Now, shout out to Bama for winning this recruiting battle. I didn't think they would. If you guys didn't know, Elijah Robinson was the reason. Elijah Robinson, primary recruiter, okay, for NyQuil here. He's the reason Bertrand went to Texas A&M. He's now the defensive coordinator at Syracuse. So I thought Syracuse was going to win the recruiting battle, but Bama still beat him out. Now, Bama has the kid from Indiana or Iowa, whatever his name is, Mr. 5-star from last year, who sucked all year this year. You got the right kids in the right size, but you got to do something with them. You got to develop them. And Bama's offensive line, when you're Nick Saban, you're punishment by performance. You win so much, your assistants get hired elsewhere, your coordinators get hired elsewhere, and you have to keep reinventing yourself and keep expressing your brand onto these new position coaches. So I hope Bama can fix it, but as of right now, it looks like their offensive line is a liability, and they're trying to address it. But this kid's going to be there for 4 years. I don't think he's good enough to see the field. I don't think he's good enough to start right now, but it's an all-potential signing. I thought it was going to be near my bottom 10. Just because you're a kid, if you can't start at A&M, why are you going to Bama? Well, he's going to be developed, but he probably should have went to Syracuse. They develop you there. I think Syracuse has one hell of a coaching staff being put together right now, and I think they got a chance to be the ACC's version of Colorado. So I would have much rather seen him go to Syracuse. But, hey, go to Bama. You can't pass that up, I guess, if you're him. And then 2 years from now, maybe he transfers again, and he goes closer to home. And we see him at Temple or Rutgers or something. Seriously. Next guy, I'm going to go to chat here shortly. We'll stop on Lisoa. He's going to be the next guy. So Stephen Lisoa leaving Mississippi State, going to Vandy. If you ask me, this is one of the best signings in the portal. Maybe I think I have him third among all the offensive linemen. This is a kid from Overton, Tennessee, and Nashville. Overton High School, Nashville, Tennessee. So coming out of high school, interior offensive lineman, he went to Middle Tennessee State. He followed the recipe. He went there and he started 20 games at Middle Tennessee State. He was 14 games out of 20 games that he played in. He was an all-conference player, all-freshman team in Conference USA. So he played well at Middle Tennessee State, and then he transferred to the SEC, and he showed that he can play at Mississippi State. 20 consecutive starts in the SEC at Mississippi State. And this is what I'm talking about. You got a bunch of these linemen up here that have never started a game in their life, and they're rated above him. But he started 20 games in a row in the SEC. And now that he's a graduate, he's going to get a postgraduate degree and start taking classes. But he's really just going home. He's from Nashville. So he's just going home. And it's a great sign. He's going to Vandy. If you didn't know, Vandy's in Nashville. So he's going home. It's a great sign by Vandy. You're getting a guy you know can play in the conference. He's been a starter for every single year he's been in college. I think this is a great signing. I got it third on my list. Got it third. I love the signing. That's an impressive signing to me by Vanderbilt. It's a win in the transfer portal. All right, I'm going to go to the chat, and then I'll go and then I'll get back to the list here. Rio says, yo, Rico, opinions on Ward entering the portal. Who the hell are you talking about? Cam Ward went to the NFL. The draft, not the portal. Apologies. Opinion is, every player's trying to get to the NFL draft. He can declare, and he probably got a draft grade that he likes, and hopefully he gets to a team that will develop him and give him a chance to see the field. Remember, being drafted in a particular order has no bearing on your ability to play football. It has more to do with the teams that are selecting and their requirements and needs. It has nothing to do with your ability to play football. There are players drafted in the third and fourth round that teams absolutely love and want. But it's all about pecking order. It's all about what do other teams desire. Can they get you later? It's not about if you're the best player or not. It's not how it works. It is not the best available player getting drafted every single time. So Cam Ward will get drafted by a team that needs him when they want him, and it's not necessarily mean he'll be their starter. It doesn't mean they didn't like him. Everybody who passed on him, it's not how it works, right? I'm a firm believer Tank Dell was on everybody's draft board as a wide receiver. They didn't want to draft him too early because they have other receivers on their team, but they probably still really loved him. But he still went in the third round. I bet there's teams that wanted him in the first round, but there's other people ahead of him on your draft board. I think Cam Ward's a great player. I hope people want him, but wherever he gets drafted has no bearing on his ability to play football. It's just the nature of the NFL. It's why I don't watch the NFL. The NFL does not play the best players. The NFL plays the players they are most invested in. So if you have a larger contract and they're invested in you and they're committed to you, you will be the starter. You will be who they play 90% of the time. I can't get down with that. I don't believe in that. I believe in on selecting players based on merit. So, and then someone will scream out, "Oh, that's not true. I got an example," and they'll give you one or two, examples. Those are anecdotes. That's not reality. That's not the trend. The trend is they play whoever they're giving more money to. Can't stand it. Do you believe Will Rogers will succeed at Washington? I don't know, Rio. That's a loaded question. I think Will Rogers is not the greatest quarterback. I think Will Rogers benefited from a great offensive scheme. Shout out to the Pirate, rest in peace. But when I watch Will Rogers on film, there are some things he does well, and there are things he struggles with. And in a traditional offense, he struggled. That's why he wasn't that great this year, is because the pre-snap reads, because he wasn't running the air raid offense. And I think people misunderstand what happens when you go to the line of scrimmage in an air raid offense. In an air raid offense, at the line of scrimmage, you already know where you're going with the ball. You snap it and you throw it. You snap it and you throw it. You don't even wait for the laces. And you know what I'm talking about? If you're a quarterback, when you get the snap, sometimes quarterbacks will adjust the ball in their hand until they get their hand on the laces properly, and then they'll throw it. That's if you didn't know how quarterbacks work. I played quarterback before. I get a snap. As I'm rolling, you move it around and you get it on the laces correctly, and then you let it go. Sometimes there are quick passes. There are hitches. There are quick reads and quick hot routes and things of this nature. You go up, you snap it. The laces are not. You grip it and rip it, right? You just grip that ball and you just throw it somewhere. And I think that's 40%, 50% of what Will Rogers was doing at Mississippi State for all those yards he got. So it's a little different when you get into more structured offense. Hopefully he transitions well and he plays well for Washington. I couldn't tell you how well he's going to play. A lot of it has to do with who's on the other end of his catches or his passes, who's going to catch those throws, things of that nature. So you still got a whole offseason to figure that out. Thank you for bringing awareness of how much of a clown Adam Jones is. Rico Pac-Man is a bum. Yeah, Trent, I feel like as I was writing in comments on TikTok, if you guys don't know what's happening here, I told people I'm not a big fan of Pat McAfee's show, and it's because he brought Pac-Man Jones in studio, and I'll never condone a criminal being brought on TV just because he once played in the NFL. That is not the criteria that I want to hear somebody talk, right? Like, I don't watch these talking shows. I do not want to hear what they have to say. They don't teach me anything. It's pointless. So when I see somebody like Pac-Man Jones being glorified by a younger generation who has no clue who he is, they just don't understand that guy did the following crimes, that irks me. So I took some time out of my day this morning to let the world know exactly who Pac-Man Jones is and what he's done in his past. And it's not good. And he's been found guilty, and he pled guilty. You guys know that he pled guilty to terroristic threats on the plane? All that whole explanation he gave about how it's not true. There was some outlet. I cursed at this girl. This girl went and reported me. I was just chilling. Da-da-da. He gave this whole explanation. But then when he went to court, he pled guilty. No contest. Yes, to making threats on a plane. Like, you guys got to understand, there's levels to this shit. Guys will lie when they get on TV. They'll try to sell you that they were once an accomplished athlete and all this stuff. But go back and read the affidavits. Read the court filing. Read the reports. That's all I can tell you. I'm an information gatherer. I'm from a generation of book reports, bruh. I'm from a generation of the Dewey Decimal System and going and getting the encyclopedia and reading almanacs. These kids who just Google and hope the answer shows up don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. Because they just Google Pac-Man Jones, and then his jersey comes up, and they're like, yeah, that guy he played in the NFL. I want to hear what he has to say. He knows what he's talking about. Rico, you don't know what you're saying. Dude, slow down. You know, if you Google search San Francisco, and you live anywhere in America, your results are going to be the Golden Gate Bridge, the 49ers, maybe Pride Week, fucking Pursuit of Happiness, some tourist-oriented shit, Alcatraz. But if you live in San Francisco and you Google San Francisco, your results will be crime, local crime, politics. Your Google results vary based upon your region, based upon your location, based upon your search history. It's an algorithm. I'm a cyber expert. I can tell you guys this. Not self-proclaimed cyber expert. I'm a real one. Been doing this shit for 20 years for 3-letter agencies. And every certification in the world got a top secret security clearance. I can tell you the truth about this. Your Google searches aren't giving you the answers you're looking for. Much like any kid who writes to me and says, Rico, talk about C.J. Stroud, talk about Jake Haener, talk about Alabama, talk about Missouri. Want me to talk about every miss I've ever had in the last year. And the videos are made. I got 6 to 12 videos made addressing those misses. They don't watch a single one. They'll never see them because TikTok doesn't show it to them on their For You page. The only way to see those videos is to go to my page and go look for the video. It's the only way to see it. But they'll never see it. So they'll demand that I make a video and I hold myself accountable on a miss, and it's already been made and they never see it. So these kids that go through their life never knowing the truth about a particular person they're supporting, well, that's just the harsh reality of being uninformed. Never that. Not me. I know who I'm looking at. Keep receipts. They don't understand. And can you show his ceiling highlights, also his floor lowlights, as well as assesses him? You're talking about Will Rogers again? I've already done a video on them. Another example. Rio, like if you go to TikTok, this is what's crazy. I can do this right now. I go to TikTok. I go to the top bar, and I search RicoKnows, and I search, what's the guy's name, Will Rogers? Sorry about that music. I didn't mean to do that. But let's go RicoKnows, Will Rogers. Boom! Look at this. I evaluated him last year pretending he was in the draft. It was a hook. That shit came out in March of last year. And I just found it in 2 seconds. You don't know how to search for shit. You don't follow my channel. You guys don't understand. These videos have already been made. Rico, can you evaluate Will Rogers, his highlights and lowlights? It's already been made. Rico, what do you think about him in the transfer portal? It's already been made. You guys don't watch the videos. Harsh reality of life. It's just the way it goes. Thoughts on Kentucky so far in the portal? Think Vandergrift does well. I'd like to see them grab a couple guys. Jacob Perkins. There's a quarterback episode. You're on the offensive line episode. If you want to talk about Vandergrift, there's a quarterback episode where I talked about Vandergrift in depth. Provided every analysis of him in depth. What are we doing? What's your thoughts on LSU recruiting class? I don't give a shit about recruiting classes. What's my thoughts about Alabama's recruiting class and 20 guys have left from it? Doesn't make any sense. Thoughts on the class of O-linemen that Coach Prime got this year at Colorado? Talked about it in episode 1, Josh, and I'm a firm believer that they have dominated on the offensive line. Now, probably in the top 5 offensive line groups that I've seen from the transfer portal in regards to impact, right? I think these guys are going to make an impact. I talked about each one of the individuals. The only guy I haven't talked about is their newest FIU signing, right? I haven't talked about Phillip Houston yet, but I will. I'll get to him. It's just a matter of me getting down the list. And he's just depth as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, if you want to talk about Colorado's offensive line, episode 1, I went into depth about it. So Hester is a Buffalo Lockett. I hope so. He's a good kid. Can you give a brief overview about how a defensive scheme changes the way you snap the ball for the casuals? Seth, yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. If you've never played center, I don't know what to tell you guys. But when you're in a three-point stance as an offensive lineman, playing center is very unique. Playing center is very difficult. You have to snap the ball, get your head up, and get your block done, right? Well, when there's a nose tackle, let's just talk about it. Nose tackle in a 3 technique, meaning he's right over you, causes problems. Somebody's hitting you immediately when you snap the ball. If they're running a 3-4 defense, somebody's lined up in front of you. Now, if they're running a 4-3 and they have their defensive tackles lined up in the A gap, but they're shading over guards, you get some help from your guards. They'll be down blocking, helping you double. You can do things. It all depends on the play. But what I'm trying to get at here is if you've ever tried to block someone and you have a chance to do a down block, it's 100 times easier. And if you don't know what that means, just imagine someone's in your inside gap and you're pushing them away from the play. That's just the simplest way for me to explain it. Trying to do zone blocking, reach blocking, getting across and up to the second level and understanding and calling the audibles and calling the plays, right? And if you're what side you're rotating to, it's just so complex. And what I want to tell you guys, playing center is probably the most difficult position on the field. Quarterback obviously is, but center is like the quarterback of the offensive line. Center is like the middle linebacker on defense. Centers have so many calls to make. And in my experience, centers are extremely intelligent. At least they should be. Centers got to be some of the most intelligent, most athletic, competent humans like on the field. A center is not a game. A lot of respect. And if you guys didn't know, offensive linemen, yes, they're called hogs and all. They are some of the most intellectually informed people because they have to read the defense when it's in front of their face. Like in front of their face mask while they're down the three-point stance, they need to read the front, the blitzes. They need to see everything right now. If you're a safety, I played free safety my entire life. And I played corner, but free safety in my later years. And when you're a free safety, you can see the whole field. You can read the whole thing. You're just calling it out, trips right, da-da-da-da-da-da, and you're just talking and communicating and doing this stuff, and you're giving out in and out calls, and you're doing it. It's a beautiful thing. You can see the whole field. It's beautiful. You're a defensive lineman. You can't see shit. You just got your face in the dirt, and you're trying to beat the dude in front of you. Imagine offensive line. It is the same. So it's remarkable. Shout out to them. You're hilarious, Rico. Thank you, JK. I tried my best. Rico, can we hear your thoughts on Avery Johnson, please? This is not a quarterback episode. Should have been here on the quarterback episode, and I've probably talked about him in the quarterback episode. Rico, what do you know about Graham, the offensive lineman that was at Troy? If he doesn't come up in this episode, he will. What I want to tell you guys, is, and I obviously know about Troy offensive linemen. I watch a lot of Group of 5 football. I know every player and every team. But as of right now, there are 145 committed players in the transfer portal on the offensive line alone. 145. I will not be talking about all of them today. So if I don't get to him today, it'll come up in a future episode when he commits to a particular school. I don't think he's committed right now. So I'll wait for Graham to commit somewhere, and then we'll talk about it. Players got to be realistic. You're the only one speaking the truth. Better to get playing time rather than to play at a Power 5 watching the game from the bench. 100%. Yeah, I know a running back right now hasn't had a carry since high school. He's been in college for 4 years. Doesn't even know if he can still carry anymore. Doesn't he? And he goes to practice and doesn't get reps. He's like, yeah, we warm up, we do things, then we get on reps, and they just don't give me any reps. I'm the 4th, 5th running back. I don't get no reps. That's crazy. That's crazy. They don't even know if you can play football. They don't even know if you can play football. Do you have any insight on Tyler Stevens and Trey Wittig? Guys transferring to IU. Can Kurt Signetti work IU's bad offensive line? I think he can. I think I talked about Tyler Stevens in the first episode and Wittig. I'm going to double check for you. Give me a second. I'm not going to talk about either one in this show, I don't think. And I can send you back to episode 1. No, I didn't talk about them. So they'll be coming up in future episodes. But yeah, man, Signetti's trying his best. He's got to find people. I'm sorry, I'm looking in the wrong spot. Let me double check. I'm just going to double check again. Ooh, sorry. I hate dead air while I'm doing this, but come on, Signetti. Yep. Not coming up, but they will eventually. So I'll talk about him eventually. I can just tell you that Signetti is doing the best, and I really trust Signetti as a coach and what he's trying to bring in. Indiana needs a lot of help, so I really trust him. What about Kyle and Rutledge? Not too worried about it. Hi, Rico. My Huskers finished off recruiting good this weekend. Is another year or two to watch out. Got my running back. There you go. He's talking about his Huskies, by the way. His Huskers. Talking about Nebraska getting Dante Dowdle. Congratulations. Talked about it in the running back episode. You can go back and watch it. Good to see your fan base is growing on X. Yeah, I just started this week. This is crazy. So last weekend, was it last weekend, babe? Yeah. It was last weekend. I decided I'm going to start on Twitter, and I'm going to see what I can do. It's been there forever. It's been at about 200 people for a long time. And sharing your content, good to see your growth from 350 to 1,500 in 10 days. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm growing the goal is 100 a day. The goal's 100 a day. That'll get me to 35,000, 36,000 in the first year. And we'll just keep going from there. Maybe 5 years from now, we'll have 200,000. Not even worried about it. Yes, it'll go faster. That's cool. But the goal's just 100. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for the follow on Twitter as well. This man doesn't understand how Google works. Alonzo Sanchez. Not only do I understand how Google works, I told you, I'm a cyber expert. I am an expert at how Google works. You have no clue what you're talking about. None. I am a forensicator. I am a certified cyber expert. Get at me. I grew up in Japan, and American football is growing over there the past 20 years. Have you analyzed any games of players from their high school, colleges, and leagues? Thoughts, any potential college player? So I haven't even looked at Japan's league. I've only analyzed the one kid who signed with Colorado State, the former sumo wrestler. Nobody else. Rocco, is there one where you missed on and you were just surprised? No, Augie Gutierrez. First and foremost, my name isn't Rocco, it's Rico, and I'm never surprised. Never surprised. If I miss, I don't even dwell on it, guys. Hey, have any of you guys ever, maybe you guys don't know this. I can dance. I just made a video on TikTok where I showed a bunch of my old dance videos. I don't post dance videos anymore, but I can dance. I've been able to dance my whole life. Okay, it started at a young age. I can remember tearing it up at county fairs, tearing it up at parties. My dad was a DJ, so I would go to parties nonstop, and I always got to dance with older women because they just thought, oh, look at that cute kid. I want to dance with him. He's doing dance moves. And I'd be dancing like Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer, Kid and Play. It didn't matter. And then as I got older, Usher, Genuine, I was always a hip-hop dancer. You couldn't mess with me. And I have a twin brother, and we'd get out there and dance. And we had this insane amount of self-confidence because we can dance. Shout out to my pops for teaching us and letting us just feel music all day and night. It was a part of who we are. Now, I can see where there's dudes nowadays very awkward, very insecure. Their body is rigid. They can't move. They're offbeat. They don't know how to dance, okay? And it's because they didn't grow up doing it. It's not natural to them. I hear a beat, bro, I'm in. I start celebrating. Kim will tell you. I get in the living room right here. I dance every damn day. I dance every day. I'm moving around. I'm in the boom. I'm killing it. No one's watching me. I'm killing it. And I'm great. I know this. So what I'm trying to point across, where I'm trying to get across to you guys is even though I'm a great dancer, even though I could go to any nightclub and be the best dancer in the nightclub, I don't care. I'll go cut it up real quick. DJ will be on the mic. Oh, shit, we got a dancer. I still go to nightclubs, ask a girl to dance. I'll never forget it. Girl once told me, I don't dance with white boys. I said, me neither. What you mean? I'm not white. Me amo rico. I'm Mexican. Do you want to dance or not? Because I'm about to teach you how to do this. Now, asking a girl to dance. Some of y'all have never experienced that. Some of y'all have never done it. Some of you guys don't even have the confidence to ask a woman to dance. I see this generation nowadays. They just walk up in the club. They just stand on the wall, put their hands in their pockets, pull out their cell phone, whatever they're doing. And they just hope a girl starts grinding on them, twerking on them, and they consider that dancing. And the dude just stands there and hopes the girl's tearing it up on him. Every now and then, you'll see a real dude out there. You see a dude out there, there's some kid with confidence, and he'll go ask a girl to dance. But most time, they just start dancing with girls. They don't even ask. They just start grinding on each other. That's not where I grew up. Where I grew up, you had to ask someone to dance, and they would say yes or no. They would say, it's a girl's night. I'm not dancing right now. No, this isn't my song. I don't really like this song. Oh, we're going to get a drink first, and then maybe we're going to dance. And the reason I can recite all of these excuses is because I would ask girls to dance and get turned down all the time. All the time. But that one time I didn't get turned down, we're going to the dance floor. I'm killing it. Now she don't want to get off the dance floor. Now, all her friends are wondering, oh, my God, why didn't he ask me to dance? Oh, my God, I wish I was dancing with him. Now they all run up. Now I'm dancing with 5 girls at a time. Oh, now I'm dancing for the next 5 hours. Mind you, I start dancing at 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. That's 4 hours. That's my cardio for a Friday night. And, guys, this is the truth. This is legendary. Shout out to Three-Legged Monkey in El Paso. Shout out to 101. Shout out to every club I ever went to and danced all night long. My point is, I never dwelled on any of the girls who turned me down. You turn me down, I ain't care. If I see you the next week, I'm going to ask you to dance again. Because I'm fearless. Because I'm cool with it. Because I got all the confidence in the world. I don't dwell on the misses. Because I know when I get my time to shine, we're dancing. Now, apply that to my sports takes. I don't give a shit about the misses. I don't care if I get something wrong. I'm still shooting my shot. Shoot or shoot. And when I get it right, I'm dancing. And I'm never looking back. That's the part you guys don't understand, is I have so much confidence in myself, I'm going to keep going. I'm picking NFL games today. What do you think is going to happen if I miss? Not a damn thing. I'm going to keep picking them. I'm going to keep going. I'm invincible. It's real. That's the mindset. And if you don't have that type of self-confidence, you'll never make it. Man, I'm real. Those dudes who don't know how to keep going after missing, after failure, they settled. You seen them? You seen them? They married the girl from high school. They married their neighbor. They try to convince you they're all soulmates and they've been together forever. No, man. You got tired of taking a shot at something you thought you didn't deserve. Remember what I'm saying. I don't go ask the ugly one to dance. I see a group of girls. We're going up to the baddest one. We're going to conquer this whole thing. She's going to feel stupid when I'm done with it. You guys don't know. You guys don't know. Send a video or tweet about how search for videos. Exactly. Thoughts on Cal quarterback Ben Finley to Akron? Well, it's not really a Cal quarterback, but this is not a quarterback episode. I already talked about that. Go watch, either follow me on Twitter or go watch the quarterback episode. Israel Abanikanda is a bust. Mr. Producer Jelly. This guy's a scrub. See, this is the type of person who's here at the show. He wants to let me know that Israel Abanikanda is a bust. First and foremost, Israel Abanikanda rushed for 1,400 yards at Pitt, 20 touchdowns, 6 yards a carry. You have no control over where you get drafted. So the fact that he got drafted to a team that already had Breece Hall, Michael Carter, went and signed Cook in the offseason, like, what are we doing? They are cutting players because of how good Israel Abanikanda is. They see him at practice. They're cutting Dalvin Cook. They're cutting players because of how good Israel Abanikanda is. He just hasn't gotten the games. Just hasn't gotten the reps. And that's what I mean by you have no control over who drafts you. You can still be great. You have no control over who drafts you. You have no control over that GM and his decision-making. But don't get it twisted. He's on the roster. He's in the NFL. He can play football. If he had gone to another team that didn't have great running backs, he'd already be on the field. But he went to a team with 4 legitimate running backs. He's still on that team, surviving all the cuts. You guys don't know. You don't know how to assess situations. You just go back and go, you don't have any yards. You don't know. Got 2 Japanese linebackers for you. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hanada I already talked about. Yep. Just saw Hidatora. He's a muscular and fast. He's definitely a hidden gem. Thank you. Yep, I think so too. Rico, you think any quarterbacks transfer to San Jose State? One did last year. I put Jake Garcia to San Jose State. I don't care. I know he's not humble enough to go there. I think they got what they need. They got Jay Butterfield, the transfer from Oregon. He's not bad. I'm going to stop going to chat. I'm going to stop it on mic. I'm going to go back to the list, and then we'll come back to the chat. All right, so we'll go back. I got to come back over here, find my database. Where am I at? Who did I last talk about? I don't know who I last talked about. Lyosa, right? Where are we at? Yeah, I talked about Steven being the third best guy. Montavious Cunningham leaving Georgia State, going to Virginia Tech. Congratulations to this young man. Saw him in Clark Central High School here in Georgia. It's a small high school, but a perennial power out of Athens. On his high school tape, this kid is 6'3", 305, super aggressive. I think his high school tape looks elite. But due to COVID, he never got to take any trips. He never saw Georgia State. He committed to Georgia State without ever seeing the campus. He committed on sight unseen. Yo, I'm going to go. So, it's because I think he was a late qualifier academically. But he finally got qualified, got to school, and he's been playing great. Jumps in the portal. Oklahoma's after him. Auburn's after him. Arkansas, Georgia Tech. Texas Tech was one of the finalists, and then he chose Virginia Tech. And the reason he chose Virginia Tech, he wants to go block for a run-oriented team. He's a great run blocker. He said, I like those run. And obviously Texas Tech is a run-oriented team as well, but Virginia Tech's got something going. So he went over there. Shout out to him. And I'll tell you something pretty cool. He went on a trip to Virginia Tech. I talked to this young man. He said, well, when I went there, the first thing they did was sit me down for academics. Sit me down and showed me how my credits transferred to their programs. Meaning I'm not having to start all over. I don't have to go back 3 years in school. I wasn't losing a bunch of credits. All my credits transferred over, and that was before we did any film study, before we talked about NFL projection and where I'm going to start and how I'm going to be moving to guard, because he's moving to guard. He's a tackle on Georgia State, but he's moving to guard. Before all that, they talked about his academics, which is really cool. Shout out to the kid for valuing his academics over anything else. But for all those schools out there just trying to recruit them for nonsense to add depth to their line, I think Virginia Tech got a decent one. I like this signing. Pretty cool stuff. Next guy, Pete Nigra. Pete Nigra here, Northern Illinois, going to Louisville. A little light on the tape. Like, he doesn't weigh 300 pounds. That's pretty small. But he's the starting center. Been the starting center at Northern Illinois for 2 years now. Didn't allow a sack this season. Not one. So he's a stud. Only allowed 2 quarterback hits and 6 hurries. I like the kid a lot. I think he can play football just a little light. And what it comes down to is Louisville lost 7 offensive linemen this cycle, this offseason. I think 3 no longer have eligibility, including their starting center. Brian Hudson's gone. So you lose 7 guys, 4 to the portal, and here you go. Second highest rated center in the MAC. So I think Louisville got a decent center. Not bad to get this guy in the portal. Congratulations. Brandon Crenshaw Dixon going to Florida from San Diego State. By the way, this is the 3rd offensive lineman from San Diego State going to a Power 5 school. Apparently, San Diego State had the greatest offensive line in the world because they got every guy going to Power 5 schools. And you think they're going to be starters. And at some point, we got to say, what are we doing? Now, Florida goes and get this kid. I think he can play football. He's from Auburn High School. You know, he once blocked for Jake Garcia in high school. 6'6", 310. He started 20 consecutive games for San Diego State. He's played in 38 of them. I think he's good. He started 14 games at right tackle. Going to Florida, let me tell you what Florida learned. Don't be signing Alabama transfers who didn't ever see the field. Damian George Jr. was one of the worst offensive linemen at Florida this year. And he had to start because Florida went and signed him from Alabama and go, well, we got this huge guy. He's great. He's all this stuff. No. He can't play football. He's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Damian George Jr., they rated him so high on these recruiting websites because he was a 4- or 5-star kid coming out of high school. Gross on the field. And Florida realizes it. They're like, man, we got the wrong caliber of player. You know what Florida went and did? They went and signed a kid who actually starts games. That's what they're getting in Crenshaw Dixon. A guy who starts games. Capable of starting games. Not Damian George. No, we're not signing them anymore. We're not signing these potential big guys who could eventually become a lineman. Look, they got rid of him. If you go look, Florida got rid of Farmer. They got rid of these guys with potential who don't measure up. They can't play football. And they went and found themselves a football player. I love the signing. Love it. And I bet he starts for Florida, and he's one of their best offensive linemen. This is a guy who started 20 consecutive games. He can play football on Saturdays. Stop recruiting 6'6", 350-pound dudes on somebody's bench. Stop it. Sterling Porcher, Middle Tennessee State, going to Texas A&M, 6'4", 304 pounds. He's from Sumter, South Carolina, so I thought he was going to stay on like the East Coast. And he had an offer from App State, and I was like, yo, App State? That's where he should go. But he went to Texas Tech instead. He started 25 games the last 2 years for Middle Tennessee State. It looks pretty decent. This is a kid who came from Iowa Western. Yeah, there's some guys from Middle Tennessee that are starting in other places now. Another feeder program for these Power 5 schools. Middle Tennessee State, you already saw it earlier. The offensive lineman, I told you, going to Vandy, right? I told you he's the third best one. But for me, this move right here, pretty solid. Shout out to Texas Tech. But if you ask me, Texas Tech has been doing these really weird recruiting strategies where they are recruiting on under-recruited guys. Transfers, small school dudes. Every Texas Tech signing is a small school guy. Weird, obscure dude. Not known, under the radar. Either their recruiting department is finding gems that no one else knows about, or they're on a very limited budget to find replacements. Because they're going after FCS dudes, small school. I mean, there's not a superstar anywhere. The only one I saw was the wide receiver from Florida. But other than that, I'm like, man, what are we doing? So, good signing. Not bad. And on the flip side, Joshua Miller. Not excited about the signing at all. 3-star kid. Thought he was going to go play at Penn State. Listen to the school. He wanted to go play at Penn State. Then he changed his mind and goes to Georgia. He's never seen the field. And now you're following a coach you know in Fran Brown, and you're going up to Syracuse. Congrats! But you still have never proved that you belong at the Power 5 level anywhere. Anywhere. You just keep making these lateral moves. This is a 534 ranked player coming out of high school. These websites get it wrong all the time. But my goodness, did they get it wrong? They have you ranked 534th in your graduating class. And you think you belong at Georgia, Syracuse? Get a grip, bro. Get a grip. From Life Christian Academy, VA, Virginia. Dude, go to ODU. Go to Liberty. No, I'm going to go play. I could play at Syracuse. All right. I'd be really surprised. And then people get online and they're like, Rico, we just got a Georgia transfer. Another one. Syracuse cleaning up. We're getting Georgia transfers. You're getting kids who couldn't play at Georgia is what you're getting. That man didn't play a lick, not one down. Me and Joshua Miller have the same amount of playing time at Georgia. I'm letting you know. Fabici. I'm disappointed in this signing. Leaving North Texas, going to Oklahoma. This is a kid with 2 years of eligibility left. Obviously, Oklahoma needs a ton of help on the offensive line. If you didn't know, most of the guys I'm talking about had offers from Oklahoma. Oklahoma's just putting it out there. We're just putting fillers out there like, yo, we need help. We need help. They lost 4 guys to the transfer portal. They lost 3 to the draft, or at least 2 to the draft. Tyler Guyton and Andrew. So, Raymond. So, they need Ram? They need more offensive linemen. They go get Fabici here. This is a Coppell, Texas kid, offensive guard, third team All-American Conference. Not All-American, third team All-American Athletic Conference. But he's been dealing with some injuries. And despite dealing with some injuries, he's showing up, and he's going to get a chance because Nate Anderson left, Savion Byrd left, Caden Green obviously left, Arian Parks left. I just don't like a kid who's kind of struggling to find his way at North Texas and stay healthy, go to Oklahoma. Nah. North Texas just had a resurgence of a year. They had a really good year this year under a new coach, a new scheme, and you probably should have stuck it out, had a healthy season, and then maybe next year you can go to a Power 5 school, not with 2 years to go. It just feels like you're one of the added names to the room. I hope he makes it. I hope he's a starter. But for me, he's not a clear-cut starter. And there's other players at Oklahoma that are waiting for their shot. I don't know. It doesn't move me. It feels like a waste. For that young man, it feels like a waste. Could you imagine being third team all-conference and then never playing again? Because you transferred to Oklahoma? Hope he gets his shot. Kurt Daneker, flip side. This is a different type of move right here. Going to Baylor. Leaving Ohio. Remember, I told you Baylor got one of the best offensive linemen from the FCS. The very best offensive lineman from the FCS. This is one of those signings I like. This is one of those signings I'm cool with. He picked Baylor over Texas A&M, over Iowa State, over Syracuse, over Boston College. He's got another good solid guard. This guy has started 28 games at Ohio. 28. And I think Baylor has been scouting the MAC better than others. Remember, Baylor already signed Daquan Finn. So they've been looking at the MAC for players, and they see this young man, and they say, we'll take Kurt. Kurt's got 1 year of eligibility. He is big. Turn on the tape. He's 6'4", 330. He just looks stout. High school tape looked elite. Shout out to Williamsport, PA. Elite high school tape. Went to Ohio. Balled out. It's pretty good stuff. So this is 2 starters I've seen now for Baylor in the transfer portal. That's pretty good. They need an offensive line. They need to figure it out. They got good running backs. But their new offensive line coach Chris Kapelak or Chris with a K. Kapelivic. He's doing good. I don't know him that well. I'll get used to him at some point. We'll figure it out. Spencer Brown, leaving Michigan State, going to Oklahoma, got 1 year of eligibility left. I was critical of this one as well. I didn't like it. This is a kid who had 24 games starting at Michigan State, but he's going to be battling for a right tackle spot. How do you leave Michigan State? New head coach, I get it. But how do you leave Michigan State? You've been there since 2019, and you were the starter for 24 games. And now you're going to Oklahoma, and you're going to be fighting for a spot. That doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, the left tackle spot, Jacob Sexton. But now, what are you doing? I hope he wins it. I hope he's a starter. It won't be as bad. But I think it's a bad move, man. I think you're already starting in a Power 5 school, new head coach, you got a shot, and then you go down to Oklahoma, and you don't have a guarantee to start. That's weird. Shout out to Oklahoma. They don't give a shit. They're piling up players and adding more depth to their line. But for the players' perspective, I think it's bad. A lot of people don't understand when I do my rankings. I did my rankings on Twitter, and I put my top 10 and then my bottom 10 transfers. What people need to understand is that when I'm putting bottom 10, it's a bottom 10 in my assessment decision on the player's part, not the school. I'm never faulting these schools for piling up athletes and getting more transfers. I'm never mad at them for that. That's their job. That's what they have to do. I'm looking at the young man, and I'm saying, who advised you? Who did you talk to? Because I'm advising players in the transfer portal right now. I have about 6 at any given time. 6 players that I'm actively talking to on a daily basis, where I think they should go, what offers I think they should be interested in, who they should talk to. And I'm not gassing, and I know some people are like, Rico, prove it, you're lying. I keep them pretty private. One's in my text, 2 in my email, 2 are on TikTok, one's on Twitter. It's what I do. These players trust me. They reach out to me. And some of them are all conference. Some of them are superstars. It's pretty nuts. It's a crazy feeling. And I did reach out to coaching staffs on their behalf. I have reached out to coaching staffs. They have written me back and said, hey, Rico, I don't want to talk to that guy unless he's in the portal, or I appreciate what you're doing, but I can't talk about it right now. They don't want to put anything in writing, but we talk, we call, we pass messages back and forth, and it's different coaching staffs. And there's some people who will be like, Cap. But when I post the screenshots, it's not Cap anymore. Now it's like, oh, shit. And I've posted them on the Discord server. Shout out to my people. It's just a part of the way it is. And it's what we're evolving to. I think eventually I'm going to evolve to where I am advising these young men. And hopefully they get great advice. Because right now they're talking to some high school coaches, some family members, some friends, the wrong people, some graduate assistant at a gaining school. And they're brainwashing these kids into thinking they should go somewhere, and they probably shouldn't. They probably shouldn't. Let's go back. Have we done 10 yet? We're on Jonathan Mendoza. Leaving Yale, going to Louisville. Jonathan Mendoza's good, man. Shout out to Louisville for getting a solid player. Listen how big Jonathan Mendoza is. 6'9", 308 pounds. 6'9", 308 pounds. I hope he can play football. Now, I couldn't find any tape on him because I don't have any Yale games on tape. He started 10 games at Yale. He's huge. Allowed 1 sack. He's played right guard, left tackle. He's versatile. All Ivy League first team. Now, that's not as big of a deal as you think it is. There's only 8 Ivy League teams, and they just vote on them, and then they decide who the best ones are. But he's given up a lot of hurries, meaning people could probably beat him on the outside and hurry the quarterback. But you can work with him. It's a big body. You can work with him. You know what you can't work with? Van Welth. Little guy, 6'2", 290, small. He plays center, played for Colorado. Colorado's offensive line was bad towards the end of the year. Remember what I told you guys. Colorado's offensive line matched up well with TCU. I thought Colorado's offensive line was good when they weren't injured. I made this very clear in a video at the beginning of the year. I said, give me Colorado's offensive line versus TCU. No injuries, first game of the season. I think they match up well. Now, they dominated TCU and they played great. As the season went on, injuries occurred, and they were no longer dominant. They weren't as good. They didn't measure up and match up well with all the Pac-12 defensive lines. No. TCU, yep, they did just fine. But the rest, they kind of fell apart. And then people start writing me and go, Rick, I thought you said they were good. You don't know what you're talking about. Hey, don't take shit out of context, buddy. Slow down. I said the following things, right? And people just don't like to apply context. They just like to stick to what they think they know. And in this case, Van Wells ended up getting hurt at some point during the year. Not as reliable as anticipated. This is a former tight end turned center. So he's still a little light. He is athletic. But shout out to Oregon State for giving him a shot. Congratulations. I don't think he should have transferred to Oregon State. Lateral transfer, bro. I don't see it. A lot of players from Colorado are transferring to Oregon State in the last 2 years. Some coaches are there, position coaches who initially recruited them to go to Colorado. Those initial recruits, they're at Oregon State now, the coaches. But Van Wells probably should have went back to Texas and played at a lower level of football. We'll see what he does at Oregon State. I'm not excited for that move. Doesn't feel great to me. A move that feels pretty good, and I'm not going to talk about all of them today, but Charlotte, bro. Charlotte offensive line, Mitchell Mays here, leaving Clemson, going to Charlotte. Now, Mitchell Mays has been in and out of the starting lineup at Clemson. Just couldn't quite get it right. Some injuries hurt him. But going to Charlotte is a great move. Going down in competition, pretty good. But if you keep loading up this list and keep going, look at this. Charlotte got 2 more guys from SEC schools. And to find other offensive linemen, Charlotte's really revamping their offensive line with players from bigger schools. And I hope it pays dividends for them. I obviously want to see Biff Poggi succeed. I like Charlotte rebuilding their offensive line. It's on a smaller scale than what Colorado's done. Right? I love Colorado's offensive line. I like the players they've signed. But between Louisville's done the best. Louisville, Colorado, I think it was SMU. And now I'm looking at Charlotte going, yo, you might have changed your whole fortune. You might have did it big, bro. Mitchell, Mays, and the other guys are all looking solid. I like what Charlotte signed on the offensive line. So shout out to them. Congratulations. Gerald Christian Lichten, they call him, what do they call him, Tank? He's going to Oregon State as well, another former Colorado guy. 6'10", 315 pounds. Huge guy. Looks great at practice. Get on tape. Get on game day. There's too much speed for him. He's a limited athlete. Doesn't do well. Doesn't handle it well. And there you go. Getting beat every play. That's reality of life. Getting beat every play. Don't like it. Don't like the signing. Probably need to go down in competition, if I'm being real. Howard Sampson, leaving North Texas, going to TCU. Don't like this move at all. Don't get this move. 6'8", 325. I don't think he can play football. Mark my words. He will not be starting at TCU. Limited athlete. Back up at North Texas. Somehow gets a scholarship at TCU because of how big he is. He's 6'8", 325. It's all size driven. Nothing about this kid. I watch his tape. Makes 0 sense to me. He played the final 2 games in North Texas season. I don't like that move at all. That's like a straight F right there. That's a bad one. This young man right here should be playing at Abilene Christian. You want to stay in Texas? Go to Abilene Christian. Go to Incarnate Word. Go down to Rio Grande Valley, whatever it is. Go somewhere else. This is not an FBS level guy. TCU, waste of a scholarship. If it's not a preferred walk-on, it's a waste of a scholarship. Jake Wiley, what a joke. Jake Wiley leaving UCLA, going to Houston. Don't get it twisted. He's not a UCLA football player. This is not a good signing by any means. This is a kid who couldn't play at Colorado. Coach Prime got rid of him. Said, hey, man, you're not going to play here. Got to go. Shout out. He's from Aurora, Colorado, so he was a local kid. And he got his pride hurt, and he decided, I'm going to go sign somewhere. I got an offer. I'm going to go take it. I'm going to go sign on with UCLA. Really? Didn't play a lick at UCLA this year. Way to show up and waste a year of your eligibility. Now he's jumping ship. He's going to Houston. Shout out to Houston. I already told you guys, Willie Fritz, former Tulane head coach, is bringing a different caliber of player to Houston, and it's not what you're used to seeing. It's high academic guys, high character guys, and that's exactly what Jake Wiley is. High academic, high character. Nowhere in there is he starter material. No. He is big. He's 6'6", 310. But I just think he's soft. Pause. Rush Reimer. Rush Reimer. Leaving Montana State, going to Cal. Stud. Straight up stud. This is down here. This should be all over your tape. 6'5", 300 pounds. From Camas, Washington. This is an all-conference guy. All-conference guy. Started left guard for Montana State. First team big, all Big Sky. Think he's great, guys. I watched everything on him. I found every clip I could find. I looked at other players on Montana State just to see if I could see him. I was so enamored with him, I started watching so much tape on Montana State, I thought I discovered a player nobody's ever heard of. True story. I was watching tape, right? I'm watching Montana State. I'm like, yo, this guy's amazing. I love this tape. And I start watching one of the corners on the team. His name's Marcus Harris. And if you're a Montana State fan, you know Marcus Harris is an FCS All-American first team. I'm like writing it down, and I'm like, yo, this Harris kid. I start going crazy. I'm getting ready to make a video on it. And he's first team All-American. Like, it's crazy. I don't even want to admit it, but it's true. Because I don't watch FCS level football unless it's time to watch tape on transfers coming from the FBS, right? Or going to the FBS. So I'm watching this Rush Reimer tape. I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, I'm watching him. And then it goes to defense, and I'm usually fast forward and stuff, but I got into the game anyways. I just let it play. And I'm like, yo, that kid can play some football. It turns out first team All-American Marcus Harris. Congratulations. By the way, Rush here, second team All-American. Second team, FCS. Great player. Shout out to Cal. They got a great offensive lineman. One of the best. I think he's number 9 on my top 10 list. That's how good he is. Marlon Martinez, leaving LSU, going to Mississippi State. I don't get it. Dumbest move I've seen in a while. You've been at LSU for 45 games. Started four of them. Started 4 games. 45 games you've been at LSU. You can't start at LSU. And you think you can start at Mississippi State. That's what you think. You've already made it up in your mind. I'm going to start at Mississippi State. So you transfer to another SEC school. You're just going to sit the bench. Or you're going to start and be absolutely terrible. Shout out to St. Thomas Aquinas, Florida. That's where he's from. I think it's a bad move. I really do. Yes, he's experienced. He's been around a long time. But when you're going to make moves like this, you cannot make lateral moves. You cannot go SEC to SEC. Could have went to the Big 12. Went to the Group of 5. Could have went to South Florida, and I would have said, this is a great move for South Florida. But instead, I'm going, these kids just read their own press clippings. They read their own headlines. I think it's a bad move. And then Philip Houston, I end the show right here, and then I'll go back to the chat one last time. Philip Houston, leaving FIU, going to Colorado, turn on the tape. This man needs to eat. He needs to get in a weightlifting program. He's just added depth for Colorado, and it's unfortunate because it's his last season of eligibility. I don't see him starting. I think he's just added depth, a good practice piece, and he wants to go to Colorado. Congratulations. Go hang out. He's from McKinley, Texas. So, obviously, there's a Texas pipeline there. You originally went to Navarro College, then transferred. He's been a 2-year starter at right guard. He's not bad, but he's just small. He's a tight end. He's a tight end to me. He's that small. He's like 6'5", 250, 260. I'm not exaggerating. 260, 250. He's skinny. But he plays good football. He's good depth. So I'll go back to the chat one time. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see what we got. Damn, just saw that. Transfers. Jonas, sometimes Rico forgets majority of teams' commits don't flip-flop around in the Power 5. Colorado on the brain. Angela McLean says, Rico, I believe Pac-Man made an amends for that first criminal case by becoming the foster parent of his dead teammates' 2 boys. No. So grace may have been extended to him in regards to that one case. No, it wasn't. It's not even. That's not even how it works, Angela. His teammate did die. Okay, this is true, and he did raise his teammate's sons to some extent. He gave their mom and the kids a place to live. Is what he did. He allowed the sisters and the brothers to live there, and Chris Henry and his kids are naturally athletic, so they play there. That's fine and all. That's cool. No, he's responsible for somebody to be paralyzed from the waist down and refuse to pay the money and claimed he didn't have the money, and he doesn't. Okay, he refused to pay the money for 8 years. He kept going, and he got so mad at the verdict he didn't even show up for the final court hearing. He didn't even show up. This man ruined somebody's life. That man cannot stand ever. He's 51 years old today. The bouncer wasn't even there when the altercation occurred. He was just coming to work. He was the shift leader, just getting to work, and he got shot walking into the building by one of his goons. Nah, we don't get down like that. I don't give a shit. There's plenty of people raising other people's kids in this world. They don't get to break the law. I don't sing your praises because you're raising other people's kids. They're called step parents. They're everywhere. Nah, that don't make you a good person. Step off. Not having it. Rico, how do you feel about Walker White? I don't. We saw the dance. Also love the content you are sending about the military, salary, your personal stories. Keep sharing personal content. Great to get to know you beyond football. Thank you, JK. A lot of people hate it. Boricua. I am not Puerto Rican. I'm Mexican, but I hear you. Stop the cap. Sideline. I don't know what cap you're talking about. Rico gets down with the brown. Most definitely. Rico drowning the women. I'm not drowning. I can swim. I've definitely had a lot of women in my life. You got money. You're good looking. You're athletic. You're intelligent. Gift to gab. An immense amount of self-confidence and can dance. Yeah, be in the military. Be in a uniform, bro. See what it's like. Yeah. 100 women is no problem. All you kids talking about body counts, you kids are childish. Childish. I've seen more women than I could fucking remember. I don't even remember them. Kennesaw State, 13-1, Conference USA champs, New York 6. Tripping, but I do like Kennesaw State as a program. Instead of yapping about your dancing, yap about the offensive line. Sideline, thanks for being here. You're a fan. Sit tight and watch. It was an analogy. It was an analogy about why I don't sweat misses. You don't comprehend analogies. The analogy is I used to ask women to dance and get rejected, and I still succeeded and still found a way, and then when I danced like I never missed. It's the same thing I do with football takes. You're not comprehending. You're not grasping it. I guarantee you your comprehension skills whooped your ass with word problems. I know it. I know you're the type of dude who never got the word problems right. I got it. I'm late. At RicoKnows, did we already talk about Lance Hurd leaving LSU? No, so we didn't talk about Lance Hurd leaving LSU, but I will. It's just a 5-star kid. All potential. That's all there is to it. Never played it down. I don't know anybody's talking about it. Just a kid who never played it down. The only reason you know his name is because the websites told you he's good. Because the recruiting websites labeled him a 5-star player. You don't know his name from anything he's ever done on a Saturday. You don't know his name for anything he ever did at practice. You know his name because some random-ass website told you this kid is good. Never forget that. Watch the games, analyze the film, look at the players. Do not go off of some website giving people stars. And notice, I'm talking about these players. Look, I said Rush Reamer is my number 9 offensive lineman. Number 9 offensive lineman in the portal. And I gave this an F. And if you go up here, how many are ahead of him? And I said he's number 9. How many are ahead of him? Remember, when you go to this list and you start going down, there's a list here. Look, these guys have never played football. This guy right here, Joey, has never played a down of football in his life. Literally. He's medically retired before he ever played. And they have him rated ahead of the offensive lineman of the year at San Diego State. 2-time all-conference. That's a crime, bro. That's why you guys don't value stars. So this boy hurt and never played it down. What is there to talk about? Some website gave him stars, and the website's wrong every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And guess what today is? Sunday, buddy. This shit is wrong. Just letting you know. Thoughts on Jordan Seaton as a prospect? Do you think he will transfer after a year? I don't give a shit, man. I don't worry about that kind of stuff, Josh. When he makes it too deep and he plays on a Saturday, I will assess his playing ability. Will Bama try to get a portal offensive lineman to replace McLaughlin? They've already gotten an offensive lineman. I don't know if it's specifically to replace McLaughlin, but I'd imagine they're trying to find solutions in the transfer portal. I'd imagine there aren't better linemen than McLaughlin in the transfer portal. He's the very best one. There's not a lineman on this list that could start at Bama for 2 years and only give up 1 sack in the SEC. There's not one. Only McLaughlin. That's why Ohio State grabbed him immediately. These blue bloods, you can't find better than that. No, not happening. Damian George was horrible at Bama too. They bullied him in practice. Yeah, he just can't play football. Can't play football. Kept getting scholarship offers. Look at that. Florida regrets even signing him. You can't get rid of him until you find somebody better. But they know he's not any good. That's why they're signing dudes at his position. Can any of these Division II linebackers at Division I Power 5s? JK, I'd have to sit down and look at them. That's a linebacker question. Linebacker podcast coming up after D-line. D-line probably coming up on Tuesday. So linebackers probably coming up on Thursday. Secondary on Saturday. Just so you guys are aware. Don't hold me to it. Any other names that belong in the Power 5? Yeah, I haven't really broken down Division II linebackers all that much. Remember, I don't go look at your tape until you commit. I'm not recruiting for schools. I'm not sitting there and assessing available players. I don't even look at the transfer portal on players that are available in the offensive line. I don't remember. I just did a whole episode. I just been talking here for 2 hours. Never once mentioned Jordan Seaton. Well, he's a recruit, but never once mentioned Lance Hurd because I don't care. Like I'm looking at something else. Understand that. Have you talked about Penn State getting the Wisconsin offensive tackle yet? No, I haven't. Why is it not on here? Huh. It's weird. It should be up here. Yeah, he's just a good recruit, good player. Hope he can see the field. I think he's the top rated offensive lineman or top rated Pennsylvania State player in 2021. I hope he sees the field. Nicoli, or whatever his name is. Yeah, I hope he sees the field. That's all there is to it. Best wide receiver in the portal. Question. Go watch the wide receiver podcast. I did a whole podcast on wide receiver. Charlotte, indeed. Tim Brewster there as well. Ooh, Brewster moved over. Great recruiter. There you go. Lank. What up, Lawrence Collins? I'm the plug, and he's calling me a Lank. I'm going to let them all know. Final thought. Following you on X and TikTok, recommend your TikTok links on X directly to expand reach and followers. Yeah, JK, thanks for the recommendation. I really don't care, man. Thank you for following me, but I don't take recommendations from anybody. I don't care. I don't care if I link it or not. I don't really even want the two mixing. You know why? Because when people on TikTok spam me and demand answers, and I've already given the answer on Twitter, it just tells me they don't rock with me. It just tells me they don't fuck with me. And I don't really care if Twitter people find my TikTok. My money doesn't come from that, man. I get paid from other avenues, other revenues. I'm cool. Thank you, though. It's also why I don't have an Instagram. I just don't give a shit. Don't need it. What you think about Unijah for Houston just signed with Louisville? I don't think about it. Quentin Butler, JUCO attacker guard. Check out your film. Feedback, thank you. I'll look into it. Thank you. Thoughts on Amarji Reed Adams from Kansas, just committed to A&M. A&M's been very underwhelming with all of their signings. Rico, I didn't know where I'm on the list, but I will not disappoint. Isaac Spike Souls. Give me a second. I'll tell you. Are you telling me you're a Isaac Spike Souls? You're not on my list. I don't know what list you're referring to. Isaac Souls. Are you referring to the high school film review list or the transfer portal list? Isaac Souls. Are you on my transfer portal list? Let me double check. I thought you were. No, you're not. I don't know who you are, but thank you for being here. Hey, shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for watching the show today. I'm going to get going. I'm going to be live streaming the national championship at 2 p.m. for the MVPs on Discord. If you want to know who's going to win the game, get to Patreon. We are doing a live stream on the Discord for the national championship. Shout out to Montana. Shout out to South Dakota State. High school film review, you're not on my list because you haven't donated. Donations are on the list only. So that means you're behind about 57 other people. And that list is about 3,000 people long. Not even joking. 3,000 people long. Cool. Shout out to you, Isaac. Good luck with your offer. 3,000 people are ahead of you. I ain't mad at you. Got nothing but love for you, man. All right, y'all. Stay up. Remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Well, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top.
Let me infiltrate the beat, concentrate the heat. If you ain't on my level, fuck it, let me be. I'll be going till it's all in motion, talking killing rappers. Then I hit my quota, and my train of thought is more a locomotive. Talking reason for it, I got locomotive. Used to be on a revenge tip, on a stunt on my ex in a France tip. I was Spider-Man whipping the black suit. I was powerful, but almost lost Luke. Blurring the line between human and artist. Try not to change, but I swear it's the hardest. I swear when you're up, they turn you to a target. Home was a trip, all I did when I'm talking. So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. My me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking missiles of hits, but other than me, I see no heat exists. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. Get the fuck back, I'm about to go green. I might begin making a feature Iraq. Cause when I hit your beat, I turn shit to Iraq. Dropping bombs like I'm cursing you out. This your house, then I'm kicking you out. Quiet as a mouse, came in the game, not a word is out that I've been lighting the flame. Shit is potent, don't you know it? I've been flowing steady, growing till they know the name. Saw it ahead of time, knew that I'd get to my losing myself in the view that some window pain. I swear I'm all about peace, I'm a positive person. Wasn't always like that, you know it took me some learning. They asked me how I push a positive light, how I keep my composure through internal fights when addressing the mic through these dark nights. Where the Bruce Wayne, what a trick me. Here's some truth that I'll let free. Bruce Banner of rap if you ask me. When my will to win and the track meet, the secret is I'm always angry. Yo, gassed up, I'm about to go green, go green, go green. Hulk smash if she know me, know me, know me. Write it to life like I'm Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee. If life's about to be a cold war, I'm the hero that they asked for. Green, I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green. I'm about to go green.